Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series on Indian ethos in management. Today we are going to discuss about the concept of self-management, which is basically a very important aspect of Indian ethos in management. In most of the syllabi, it is prescribed as a topic of discussion, and here we are going to discuss about beyond Western models of self-development. Because we all have to discuss about the self-management, but to understand how to manage self, we should first understand the journey of self-development, the way we develop ourselves. So what existing body of knowledge says, that is something which we are going to take as the important aspect of our discussion today. That is going to be the first step of our discussion, that what existing body of knowledge says. Then we'll talk about beyond Western models of understanding self or self-development. And there are 7 models of self-development if we look at the Indian philosophy. And we have 3 levels of self, 3 types of struggles, 3 levels of existence, 3 states of mind, 3 views of life, 3 types of leadership, and 3 styles of management. Whenever I present these 7 models in front of our students, they very often ask a question, sir, why this number 3 is coming to us repeatedly? Why only 3 levels of self? Why only 3 types of struggles? Why only 3 states of mind? Because we all understand that in Indian mythology, there are 3 important gods. One is there acting as a creator, another is there to look after us, and third one is there as a destroyer, as a person who is going to reset the entire humanity, the entire universe. So getting aligned with that very concept of Tridev, we have 3 levels of self, 3 types of struggles, and so on. So in today's lecture, I'll be telling you about the 7 models of self-development. But before that, we should understand that what is there in the background of this self-development. When we talk about self-management, why we have to discuss about the self-development? Because unless we understand the way we have been developed, the way we have been raised, we cannot manage ourselves, we can't manage others. So among many other Western models of self-development, at least 3 models stand out for their lasting impact and influence. 3 important are there, key concepts are there, which stand out for their long-term impact, lasting impact. The first one is the Sigmund Freud's id, ego and superego model. We all know about that. Whenever we try to understand the human psychology, the self-development, this Sigmund Freud's model of id, ego and superego comes to us. Then comes Kohlberg's moral development in terms of pre-conventional, conventional and post-conventional stages. So the second one is this, and the third one is the transaction analysis model of 3 ego state, that is parent, adult and child. So when we conduct transaction analysis, or what you call as TA, in that we always converse with each other in either parent or adult or child ego. So either we talk to a person in parent ego or in adult ego or in child ego, and accordingly the second person, the counterpart, replies or responds. But if there is a mismatch between the ego states, of course the conflict arises. And that is why these 3 important models are in front of us whenever we look at the models of self-development from Western philosophy. So it is very much important to first understand what is the prevalent model, what is there into the practice, to find a difference with what we are going to discuss. So these 3 models, they have been discussed at length when we talk about the models of self-development. But beyond Western model, do we have something beyond these broad contours of Western models? Do we have something new into that? So here we are going to present models that take us beyond the Western models. In this lecture of mine, I'll be letting you go beyond Western models. You will be able to see what is there beyond the broad contours of Western models of self-development. Now the question comes, sir, why do we need to look beyond this? What is the reason behind that? This need is felt because Western models are inadequate in explaining certain emerging dimensions, certain emerging issues like terrorism, like alienation, like anomie, and similar other threats to individual peace which we are witnessing in today's world. So these Western models, they don't have any answer to these questions, or you can say we don't find them adequate in taking care of these issues, in managing these issues. And this I'm not saying, the researchers are indicating. Atre in 2003 suggests the need to learn from Shastras for creating peace in society, organizations, and also for individuals. So it is the individual peace which percolates up to the society, to the nation, to the world. Unless I am peaceful, how can I spread peace among others? So I need to have that peace in my possession if I really want to spread that. This is what researchers are indicating. So human beings are central to development process. This nobody is going to deny. We all know that human beings are central to any development process, and there is a need for us to understand this centrality in terms of its interlinkages with family, organization, society, and nation. So this understanding of interlinkages is very important here. The Eastern models, they come to our rescue here. They help us in a fresh understanding of such interrelationships with an objective to increase overall happiness, not only at the level of individual but also in family, organization, society, and nations. So if you really wish to spread happiness, if you really wish to increase that level of happiness among the citizens, then of course this Eastern model can be of immense help to us. Now Eastern thought, it starts with the shloka. There is a shlok which actually gives a true reflection of what Eastern thought is all about. Here we don't believe into our own development only. In Eastern thought, we have no space for being selfish. We think of self, but along with others. We have a shlok which says that Sarve bhavantu sukhina, Sarve santu niramaya, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, makas chidduk khabhag bhave. Which says that let everyone be happy. Let everyone be healthy. We want everyone to be happy, not only happy but also healthy. You should lead a healthier life, and you need to see good in everyone. We should try to find best from everyone, and we should not let anybody be ever unhappy. Let nobody be ever unhappy. You should have that feel that if you are unhappy, I am unhappy. If you are happy, I am happy. This is what is the basis, is the basic point of Eastern thought, which is reflected in this very shloka, where we want everyone to be happy, healthy, and we should see good in everyone. So survival of all is the essence of Eastern thought. We want that survival of all is important. We don't believe into survival of the fittest or survival of the best. We believe into survival of all. Let everyone be happy. And this very idea offers us a holistic view of life and suggests that enlightened collective interest should be the basis of any of our actions. Whatever we do, we should believe into the enlightened collective interest. It also gives us a foundational premise for understanding the relationships of human beings with their environment. you can identify, you can find a foundational basis for your relationship with the environment in which we are living. And what is the ultimate goal here? The ultimate goal of human-made institutions and organizations, what we call as man-made things, man-made institutions and organizations, is to work towards the goal of everybody's welfare. Whatever we have created, our ultimate goal should be to ensure the welfare of everyone. And since it is the objective, the role of organizations, corporate entities, or any other type of enterprise, it should be evaluated within this framework only. When we know that my goal is to ensure the welfare of all. If survival of all is the essence, then of course we should evaluate each and every institution, each and every organization within this very framework. Now the question comes, what the existing literature says, what present researchers are saying. It is very much interesting, my dear learners, that new age management literature, it has started asking this question. And once you start asking this question, it means you want a solution. You are facing a problem and you want a solution to that. Because asking question is an art. And you ask a question only when you find the problem to be pinching to you. When it pinches you, you start raising questions. So a quick review of the 100 years of psychology, it indicates 3 paradigms of psychology. We find 3 important paradigms of psychology as a subject or as a discipline. The first one is scientific, or it is also called as transactional psychology. The second one is humanistic psychology, and the third one is the yogic or spiritual psychology. So we have to understand, in order to have a better understanding of the 100 years of psychology, we can classify them into these 3 paradigms. Again, the number 3 came: scientific, humanistic, and third one is yogic or spiritual psychology. Now these 3 what you call as paradigms of psychology, they correspond to transactional, transformational, and transcendental views of life, which could be referred to as 3T model. In the literature of psychology, we call as 3T model, where these 3 T's, they are representing transactional, transformational, and transcendental views of life. During the recent years, we witness a shift from psychoanalysis to psycho-spiritual analysis. Now we are at a stage when we have started talking about the psycho-spiritual analysis, what it is. Earlier we were talking about the psychoanalysis only. Now we talk about psycho-spiritual analysis. So it is the spirituality which comes between the psyche and analysis. And it is giving us a signal. There is a clear reflection, there is a clear signal, signaling of a shift towards transcendental psychology, which we are witnessing, which we are observing in the present day's psychology. And it is a welcome step. I would like to quote one of the research here by Carrickle 1994, which indicates that Freudian psychoanalysis, it has given to New Age psychoanalysis, wherein the spiritual metaphors have gained ascendancy in explaining behavior and in developing healing mechanisms nowadays via spiritual therapy as well as psycho-spiritual therapy. So they are witnessing, the researcher indicates here that this has gained, spiritual metaphors, they have gained ascendancy. They are increasingly being accepted whenever we have to develop healing mechanism, which means to our pinching problems, solution is coming from where? It is coming from spiritual therapy, and you can call it as psycho-spiritual therapy. So there is a synthesis between the two. We are taking science along with the spirituality. a very rare combination, a very unique combination which we are witnessing. If we look at the study of Wilbur in 2000, it also makes a similar kind of observation, and it is very interesting to note here that Freudian id, that is ID, is replaced by spiritual id, wherein id means inner divinity. We talk about the divinity inside us, divinity inside a human being. Popularity of this transcendental management, Reiki and other yogic practices, it is also a pointer in this direction, that we are heading towards this psycho-spiritual analysis, this psycho-spiritual therapies. And it may be indicated that, it may be noted here that transcendental psychology is primarily based on the idea of connectivity of inner being, what is indicated by IB, that is inner being, inner self, with absolute one, which is indicated by A. So we have to actually base our entire discourse on these two important aspects. We should connect them. One is inner being with that of absolute one. If it is connected, then of course we can do this transcendental, we can understand the very philosophy of transcendental psychology. Because unless you know the basis of that, you cannot understand the seriousness of that idea, the significance of that thought. So psychologists such as, if I have to name the segment, Freud, Skinner, they belong to scientific or transactional paradigm. They belong to that stream where it was a scientific exercise, it was a transactional paradigm. Whereas Abraham Maslow is torchbearer of humanistic psychology, which represents paradigm of transformational psychology. But if we look at psycho-spiritual approach, that is also known as New Age approach, and Vedantic tradition given by many Indian gurus, many Indian saints, they belong to the transcendental paradigm of psychology. So these ideas, either you call them psycho-spiritual, or you call them New Age approach, or you call them Vedantic approach, Vedantic traditions, they actually belong to the transcendental paradigm of psychology. At the very outset, I told you about the three significant paradigms, and this is the third paradigm within those three, among those three. So in the new age of psychology, the three paradigms are basically transactional, transformational, and transcendental. They are now in dialogue with each other. There is no gap among them. They are in dialogue with each other. They are interacting with each other. So they are not acting as a vertical. They have their own scope of interaction. So from this kind of dialogue, many new insights are re-emerging, and limitations of earlier approaches, they have now been realized, that what are the limitations of the previous approaches, the established approaches, the erstwhile approaches, the approaches with which we were working. So here comes the role of integrative view, the importance of integration of these ideas. If we look at the integrative view, we can represent the three layers of psychology in terms of SR, that is stimulus response. Second one is SIR, that is stimulus intelligence response. And third one is SVR, that is stimulus vivek, and here vivek is representing wisdom. Stimulus vivek response, that is SVR, with equivalence in senses, mind and spirit, which is also called as SMS model and the 3T model. So it is being given the name of SMS model, that is senses, mind, spirit model, and 3T model. So my dear learners, the three layers of psychology is represented here by the way of SR, SIR and SVR. So at the third level we have vivek between the stimulus and response. If we only believe into stimulus response, we are behaving like a machinery. And in Indian philosophy, it is said that your smile should not be a reaction of somebody else's statement. It should be natural. You should smile by your own reason. People say that this person doesn't have any reason to smile. But why don't you create a reason inside you? And here comes the role of Vivek, stimulus Vivek response model, which indicates towards this SMS model and 3T model. The size of the layer could differ from person to person, and this explains the differences in behavior. It can be different. For me, it can be different for you. But it is there. An individual evolves as he or she moves to the SVR step, from SR to SVR. If you start your journey from stimulus response and then you reach to the level of SVR step and develop Vivek or ability to discriminate, that is the real success. It means your self is being developed. There is a Guna model in Indian philosophy. It is the fundamental model of self-development in Indian Shastras, which is known as the model of merit, model of quality. The Guna theory suggests 3 qualities in nature represented by the Sattva. We call it luminous, purity, goodness, synergy. Second one is Rajas, that is Rajas we call it activity, passion and energy. And third one is Tamas, that is reflecting darkness, inertia, negative energy, or we use a new term increasingly nowadays, which is a synthesis of negative energy, and we call it Negergy. That it is basically giving you a negative energy. In addition to this, if we recite Bhagavad Gita, it also offers the idea of lower self and higher self, and gives us a suggestion that there is a need for self-transformation from lower self to higher self. This theory and self-development theory from Bhagavad Gita, they constitute foundational concept for self-development models based on Shastras. Now there are 7 models of self-development which represents 3 levels of self, 3 types of struggles, 3 states of mind, 3 views of life, 3 types of leadership, and eventually 3 styles of management. So my dear learners, if you look at the beauty of these 7 models, they have something to say on every aspect, whether it is level of self, struggle, mind, life, leadership or management. So they cover all the broad contours of human psychology, whether it is your existence. So in the next lecture of mine, I'll be telling you about these important 7 models, starting from 3 levels of self, where we have 3 levels of consciousness known as ego, echo and cosmic. In Western model we had id, ego and super ego. Here we have ego, echo and cosmic. That I'll be telling you in the next lecture of mine. Today I have given you a foundational basis of what is there into the self-management. I hope you must have enjoyed today's lecture of mine. Thank you so much.